waiting, so that was joking. This was a 5-minute meeting, but we spent 35 minutes on here. I said it should have been a 5-minute meeting, Greencove at 5. And they spent 35 minutes in planning zoning board talking about events. So y'all should feel bad.
No, we don't feel bad, but
Why are we supposed to feel bad? We haven't gotten to our fence.
That's right.
this is the city of Keystone Heights, planning and zoning. We bring the workshop to order.
Okay.
Ms. Fleet, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna, Mr. Bo's got a PowerPoint, right?
You want the PowerPoint first?
Please. Because that's really what keeps me on track and make sure I get all the points that I need to get, okay. Okay, next slide. As you know, we're working on a comprehensive plan update. We've had to tweak a little bit from when we originally started, and stop me if you have any questions, since you're new, because we got a $60,000 grant from the state. So there were some deliverables that we wouldn't have probably done as extensively, but we need to meet the grant requirements. It's going through, it's been signed off by the city, and from talking to our contact at Florida Commerce, it is going through the process of approval, which might change some of the deliverable dates, because they can't require you to send them something, must be bad acts or something, because there's only a couple, without having executed contract. So, but it is approved, and we can bill for our time when we finally get it, going back to July 1. So we're good. We just, so this is, next slide. So, so one of the biggest things that we had to do is deal with the, prepare an engagement report, a comprehensive plan engagement report, the plan, and which, so, last meeting I showed it to you. We've been working on implementing that since the last meeting. I've been working with the city's webmaster, or whatever you call him, Joel. And he has kind of come up with a web page. Can you click on it? We'll go to that. You know.
What's
The link that's on that PowerPoint. Or maybe not.
It's Microsoft product, ain't gonna work.
Oh, okay. So this is a draft of our comprehensive plan update.
I believe the full plan you have there is the old 2011 one, correct?
That's the one that's going to be in there, because that's the one that's linked to, because that's what we're updating. But if you go down, and there's questions like, what is a comprehensive plan process update, which really is from the handout that you have that I created that we can pass around to people. If you click on that plus sign, and this is still working on it, it's basically what is in that sheet that's got little orange dots. That's kind of what it says, and why should you get
this
them?
one?
Correct. So he says, what is a comprehensive plan update? So it's a general telling you what it is. You go down the next, why should you get involved? Again, it's the same thing that's on that information sheet. Then if you go, then the other thing that's going to be on this web page, if you go back up, is our Facebook page that we're going to be able to link to if anybody has any comments on the comprehensive plan there, as well as you click down, go down, and then we're going to, if there are any meetings we have with the businesses, they will be in there, and then notices and surveys to the business, which is a link that I've been working with Drew that is in the PowerPoint. You'll see the questions that we have. Some of the questions I think we kind of felt is important, is more globally for the city. It's not just comp plan if we get the information from the businesses. Okay, if you go back to my PowerPoint now. So that's kind of our draft website. Okay, next slide. Next.
Keep working, I promise.
I know.
That's
Okay,
accurate.
so, and then the other thing is notices and surveys to businesses of Keystone Heights. And this was, Drew kind of worked it up, and it's gonna be a form, I'm not exactly between Drew and Joel, who's our web person, how it's gonna be able to, where somebody can answer it, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible for a business to answer the questions. But, let me get closer so I can see it. So, the first thing is information about the business, you know, what type of business they are they inside the city or outside the city limits? How many years have they been involved? And are they aware of the comprehensive plan that we're updating it? My gut feeling most of them know, but just so that it's an awareness that there is. Then some of the questions are, like I said, it's more globally, so we can get information about our businesses, is what types of businesses should he have? Various choices there. What barriers that the city has? Next one didn't come out as good as I hope.
It looks great on paper.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Is it the same thing that?
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
these are the exact
Yeah. Question is,
These
does
are
current
really
land use and zoning policies, how, you know, do you like them basically? What infrastructure projects do we need to do? Again, places for comments and economic development. What does the city currently support for your businesses? You know, what support do you think we have? What actions should the city take to better support businesses? Then the final, do you have any additional comments? Would you like to stay informed in the comprehensive plan process? If so, give us your email.
Where did you get these, the questions?
Drew kind of came up with it.
And who is Drew?
Oh, Drew, I'm sorry, she is the,
Ms. Bell, she's the events coordinator.
events
The
coordinator.
events coordinator.
Yes.
This is a really important opportunity to collect real data from the people in the city. So I'm saying this because this is what my doctorate's in. Is in creating data collection instruments that don't present biases, don't lead questions, don't put two questions into one prompt. I would very much like to speak with whoever's working this so that I could.
But basically, she did the first draft. I kind of
Then
revised
would
it.
you and Anna
Yes,
to work
yes,
on
yes.
this?
So
Then
please.
we need to set aside time, and we can do this offline.
Okay,
We need to set aside time so that I can help Crispin some of these questions.
that's
You don't want to lose this opportunity. It's hugely important. So put my name on that.
okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I thought it was when Drew came up with it, because we weren't sure we were going to do it. Was we just going to talk to the business? And then she ran with it and kind of is the best way of saying it, and came up with this
This is
the
fine.
draft.
Good.
And so I felt it was a great opportunity to give the council,
Draft.
you know, not just, because I'm not sure that the businesses know a lot about the comprehensive plan, but this gives us an opportunity to find out what they're feeling.
Thank you.
So that's what we're doing. So yeah, okay. Next slide. Okay. So then the other thing was to promote business and resident involvement. So that sheet that you have, that you got a copy of, well, what I'm hoping is that's something that, I know they have little flyers out here when people come to City Hall. When, I think last meeting, Jamie talked about going to business meetings, if any of the council goes to talk to businesses, or they go to the chamber meeting, or whatever, is an easy one-page handout so they have an understanding of what the comprehensive plan is.
And beyond the businesses, we need to remember our residents.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like if you talk to, if there's a neighborhood group, or you just talk to your neighbors, whoever you think, if you go
And
to
I think
church.
this is beautiful. This was, when we sat down, this was the very first thing that I saw. And I said, who wrote this? I love this, and it was yours, and I
Yeah.
think this is delightful.
Yeah, I thought it was quick, I mean, I kind of Googled, looked around for other communities that had done stuff, and I tweaked it to make it easy to read and et cetera, so, yes. So I think that's important, so that we have that, so that's also next. So, I think we will have a good deliverable for our engagement plan, because I think we're gonna be able to send the Florida Commerce what we're doing to engage the community, our plan, which is a good plan, and you can see how we're implementing it. We talked about the plan last month, and we'll get you a copy of it if you haven't, so you can look at it, but you can see that how we are implementing. That's what really, so it hasn't been a month, it's been a couple of weeks. Okay, so the other thing I did is this is an updated draft. I think you all got sent copies of it. And the only change, I'm not sure if it was in your, the one you got is, Jamie did some research, and the restaurant across the street, was in 2022.
Across the street from what?
Across the restaurant, what is the name of it?
It's Brooklyn Boys.
Brooklyn
Fox
Boys.
Run.
Yes,
Across the street from the,
It's
commercial.
industrial, it's zoned industrial.
No, we found out that it wasn't, it was rezoned and doing some research. So they actually, I guess, back, whatever, like in 2000 something, I think it was 22, I don't have my email in front of me.
I think so.
There was a change to make that commercial and that might have been when they opened, or they might have needed a certain license, I'm not sure, we didn't know about it till
Yeah,
after
because that
that.
wasn't on the last.
No, it was not, so that's
I was
only.
surprised at that when we
Right.
drove by.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that is the only change, from what we discussed last meeting. You can see we added
Right here.
the streets to make it easier to read. So I think we feel pretty good. I did reach out which was, I think Dr. Zazer or somebody asked me to Mr. Wiggins about his property and what the land use category that we're proposing, and he thought it was fine. He was fine with that, so. And actually, I don't know if everybody knows, but he said he owns the parcel in the county.
Yeah, he owns the beige, orange, khaki, whatever
Yeah.
color that is. That's
But
his
no,
stuff.
he owns that, but then the white that's in the county.
Mhm. Yep, correct. All
So he might be coming in for annexation, which I think would be positive. I told him that I would recommend, it's easier to deal with one entity, he'll probably get better land use and zoning. Usually cities are better than counties.
Which portion are you referring to?
This orange up in the corner.
the stuff under draft.
Right, and
yes,
then
yes.
white is also owned by the Wiggins.
That's the square, the white half square is his, if you can imagine another
Yes.
Yeah.
square.
And he also asked what the density, I said we stuck to the 6 units per acre, which is the highest we have. He said, could it go higher? I said, You could
I
always-
would rather not.
that's what I said, you can always ask for it if you have a specific development.
And I have several emails to you very specifically
Right,
about that.
right, but I'm saying, somebody can ask for it.
Mhm.
We're not giving it to him, we're not saying right now, but if he was to come, he's allowed to come with an application to make a change when he gets to that point.
True.
And what he would have to do, just so you know from a process standpoint, if we adopt our comprehensive plan with this, that's their land use, and it's 6 units per acre, 70% being residential development, 30% commercial. If he wanted to go to 8 units per acre. and I was-
Wait a minute. I think I've been left behind in some of the discussions. I thought we were still at 50-50. I thought we discussed 70-30 at the last meeting, but no one, I certainly didn't agree to 70-30. So,
I'm not talking about the downtown, I'm talking
The
about the
orange.
open area.
the orange, I thought the orange
Oh,
was
I thought-
50-50.
I thought it
the
was-
orange was 50-50.
I thought it was 70-30. The 50-50 is what was in the old mixed use for the downtown.
Right, that was my understanding that
Yep,
you.
just before you showed up, that was our discussion, is where exactly, in fact, I have it written down right here, where exactly is the 70-30 split?
That was a recommendation in the, those recommended categories that I gave you last meeting.
Correct, and I remember that.
And I don't ever
What I-
mention, I don't ever remember discussing anything different, so I just made the
No,
exception.
that's fine.
I mean, and we can change it, don't forget that,
No.
I understand that, but when we're talking about it now, and we haven't agreed to it beforehand, I think it's important that we not say we can change it later when we haven't changed it now.
oh, right,
So we're
yeah, no.
already we're at 50-50, and we haven't made changes for
Yes.
70-30. We're at 50-50, and we're still in that discussion.
Yes.
And I was just asking before you came in, are there any data that lead us to the conclusion that 50-50 is impossible to meet? This is such a gem that we live in, that we may want to consider maintaining it as the gym that it is and not turning it into Green Cove Springs or
Okay.
Orange Park or Middleburg. It's very different and it's very special.
And you can gather, we're talking about the bit to move beyond.
Okay, so I'm gonna, first of all, number one, until the council adopts, not even transmits, but adopts
Mhm.
this comprehensive plan, which will probably be in the fall sometime, believe it or not, just to go
Yeah, I know,
through the DCA.
we're dragging
right?
our feet and it's really.
No, we're not dragging our feet, that's how, because once we send it off to Tallahassee, they have 60 days.
I understand.
You know, we're in the time frame for anything, so nothing can change. What I gave last meeting was the proposed land use amendment, change, the land use categories we have now and recommended changes. We had a lot of discussion talking about the downtown mixed use.
Correct, and I
We
thought
did-
that was the 70-30 split for the downtown
That's what
zoning.
I-
That's the way I understood it.
No, the way we did the mixed use,
Mhm.
what was in that category last meeting was we got rid of, because if you remember, Jamie even talked about how since the only development that we've had was one project that we couldn't go through because of this required mix, and I'm talking about in this pink area.
Yeah, the
And
downtown.
the reason that it doesn't work, what we're promoting is we want allow residential in there. But by requiring in developed area, there's very little, undeveloped land in that pink.
So let's get back to where we were. Last month, the downtown was orange and that piece up above below the word draft was orange. And there was.
No, it wasn't. No. This was like not even a color in your comp plan, your existing map, in your current map.
Can you present, nevertheless, my understanding when I left, forgive me, my understanding when I left the meeting last time was that it was 50-50 proposed in the new construction, which was anticipated in what's now orange, and that the current zoning or current land use in downtown was 50-50. And you, as I heard, and I could have misunderstood, you were proposing, or it was proposed, and you were the person who was doing the proposal, so I'm not saying you, I hope you are
No, I
not hearing
understand.
me.
No, that's fine.
70-30, and we were munching on it, because
Right.
months ago, when we submitted our changes to the land use, my recommendations to you were keep it 50-50, keep it 50-50, keep it 50-50, and I've not changed in my thinking on that. And you've not convinced me
Okay.
that that's why I was asking. are
Okay,
there
so
any
if I misunderstood, but I will tell you my professional recommendation that I have. I do not feel to restrict in the downtown area, which is the pink. I do not think it makes any sense if you want to redevelop, which that's part of your CRA area, if you want to redevelop that area, to have any restrictions on percentages.
Aha.
There isn't anybody in that, and that's what I thought we all kind of agreed at in
Maybe
consensus.
you agreed somewhere else, but
But
that's not
so,
what
I mean,
in the
okay,
meeting.
so that, my recommendation, and I think it's staff recommendation, because we as staff did meet this before. Jamie and Bo and myself, we met and we talked about these. It does not make any sense to do that in a developed area that the more restrictions you put on developed property that you want to redevelop is restrictive. What we want to do is allow for a mixture of uses, and that's what, for instance, I think you were talking about your development that you wanted to be able to do some housing, but it's a church property now, and you could do some commercial. But we as staff is not recommending a percentage requirement.
Okay,
And
so-
let me continue on. The other thing that we were creating in that list of that provided last month, or a couple of weeks ago, was we were gonna have two mixed-use categories. One mixed-use category is, what I call a traditional mixed-use category that, many communities have. That's how a lot of your larger developments are done, which that is a large piece of property for vacant property within the city limits, that's probably your largest piece. That there be developed as a mix of use with some commercial and some residential. A 70-30 commercial residential is a standard that most communities need. You need you need a certain amount of rooftops to justify the commercial. That's the reality. If you do 50-50, it's not gonna happen. That's just how it works. Even 70-30 is high because you need a certain amount of rooftops in order to get the commercial to be there.
What about our existing commercial? What about our existing commercial?
What about you, what do you mean, but what about your existing commercial?
That we have commercial circle adjacent to what is in orange up here, proposed residential mixed use.
No, it's not residential mixed use, it's mixed use.
Okay, but did it used to be yellow? Was
used
that
to-
ever a color? Was this
I don't
ever
think it was
That's
a color.
2011 right there.
It's not a color if I
This is
remember
not-
correctly.
That's
Is this what she
2011.
presented? Is this
No,
what she?
this
isn't-
is current.
But this isn't what she presented last time.
This is what I presented last time.
You presented two maps.
I
last
presented just, which I think was more confusing than anything
Yeah,
else.
obviously.
And I'm sorry.
time. Yeah,
I presented a map with the existing land uses
Yeah,
as
but this is-
per.
This is 2011 right here.
No.
No, this is where we are.
We have a future land use map that was adopted the 2025 map that was adopted in 11.
Yes, that's what I
Okay.
have right here.
That's
on my
what, if
device.
somebody comes in to Bow and would like to develop it,
there's the red.
that's
Yep.
what we have to use, okay?
Oh, it is orange. It was orange in that map.
Yes.
It was orange in that map.
But it wasn't the
It wasn't
category.
orange mixed use, but it was orange.
Let me
in that
see.
map.
This is the current
It
2011
was
map.
orange in that.
No,
map.
that is not. That is not the map.
That's what I pulled, that is on our website right now.
Well, that's the, well, I don't know, but that is not our current comprehensive
Okay, so
plan.
let's get back to this. And when you
I will
said,
find it on my,
Yeah, because this is on our website.
so my question is.
I don't,
My question to you is something that you said that's kind of distressing to me, which is, that this mixed use, you have to have so many roofs and the mixed use, and this is what the other folks are doing within the county.
I'm not saying county, I'm saying
The
globally,
universe.
the universe and the planning community.
This is all.
That's what,
That's right.
you have to have a certain amount of housing in order to
This is
just,
what current.
yeah,
Is that the old map?
This is current, this is, if somebody calls today
yes.
and wants to build something, this is what we have to.
Where did that come from?
It's on our website,
Website?
planning and zoning.
Yeah, and what is that? See, it's no, this out here. is industrial.
Could I see one of these maps?
Yeah, I'm
Thank
That's,
you.
that's what's on the website. It's eerie, this.
Mr. Wright, do you have an extra?
I do.
This is zoning. Is yours land use?
This is the current.
That's our current zoning.
On our
Well,
website.
that's our zoning map, but there's the land use
Okay,
map.
land use, okay.
This is, hold on, this is a zoning map, I will give you the land use. I do not know what's on the website, it's incorrect. I'll tell you.
Say.
It's incorrect. I don't know where it is, we'll have to,
It's page 104 of our comp plan.
no, okay, no, if you're pulling, that's the problem with our current comp plan.
Mhm.
That is, let me see if that was a map in your current comp plan, that is not the adopted map, the 2025 future land use map, which is our current map. That's at 2010.
No, it's the 2011 map.
It's the folded one. She's talking about,
It's this
you're talking
one.
about the big folded one. Yeah.
Are you talking about this being
Yeah,
yellow?
it was yellow then. It was yellow.
Yes. That is our current
Yeah.
comp plan map.
It
Yes.
was residential.
Yes, it was just residential, yes. It was 100% residential.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, that's the confusing part. I think the map you showed that was just existing uses really was
to
Right,
show
I
you-
was-
Very confusing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in my world, and I am sorry that I that normally when you do what you do, when you're going through this process, which is part of our review and analysis, I'm writing up a report to the state. But what we do is you look at your current land uses and say what we have, and that's based on the property appraiser's coding of land uses.
Okay.
And so it has, it's just,
This
it's
is
like
what
background
you're-
information,
Too
just
much-
like to
too much
say,
information.
well, yeah,
Yes.
it's just like to say that our population used to be, when I gave those population figures, what it was. So that's kind of what we are, it's a base information, okay? It is base information to
Okay.
give you information of
All
what
right.
it is.
So if we can get back to the question at hand, which was, you've introduced a second mixed use, which is called the downtown mixed use, which, I'm now learning is different from the proposed mixed use, which is the property, the property just under the word draft. And in the folded map, that property just under the word draft, the corner under the D was red, it was commercial there, yeah, it's right there.
I just
Yeah,
pulled this up, this
and
is
there's red
25.
right there.
No, she just pulled it up, our current land use map
It's
is
red,
residential.
see the corner, see the
Oh.
corner,
Oh,
and it's red.
well, excuse me, that little piece, that
Right,
little,
right,
okay.
right.
But the majority of the property is residential.
But right, so now the proposed from you is that this become mixed use, which you're proposing, the planning person, you're proposing as a 50-50 no. What are you proposing for that orange up there?
Okay, hold on, I gotta look at it's, okay. It's the category, the categories that I presented in both an underline and strikeout last meeting, as well as a clean copy. Those are the land uses, the future land use categories that staff is proposing.
What are you proposing for this orange?
I think
Oddly
I
shaped.
have to look, I don't wanna tell you because it's not, I did not bring that because I didn't expect us to go backwards. I will bring that at our next meeting, but it is in this information that I presented at our last meeting. It was a handout we gave at your last meeting.
So this is orange. This is orange, and it's on today's presentation, and it says mixed use, and I'm asking, what is your percentage that you're, and you don't have an answer?
What I'm saying is I did not print out the categories, okay? Because I thought that my mistake, that we all kind of generally agreed. I
No.
think it was 70-30,
Okay.
if I'm correct.
Janice, I think so, yes. I
Yes.
had the last
That
meeting-
was 70-30, 6 units per acre in the orange.
Okay.
So we are let me step back. In the proposed future land use categories, we are gonna have a mixed use, which is for 70-30, and we're gonna have a downtown mixed use, which was the old mixed use, but the old mixed use was extremely restrictive and limited development and redevelopment.
It
More
was
important.
50-50.
Right, but you had to have for each development, each block had to be there. So therefore, if I owned a business, like, what was the name, Logistic, what was it?
Gifting guns or?
Huh?
Atlantic Logistics.
Oh, the-
Atlantic Logistics owned a piece of property, has an existing business within Keystone. He has a piece of property next to him, he bought it, that he wants to expand his business. The comp plan currently does not allow him to do that until he takes, if he's got, and I'm just gonna take a number, if he has currently 2,000 square feet, and he wants to be able to expand 500 square feet, which would be 2,500 square feet of commercial, he cannot do it. In order to do any expansion of his existing business, he has to have 12, and add that 500 square feet, he'd have to have 1,200 square feet of commercial and 1,250 square feet of residential.
And if you stand in front of their property, there's a door to the left, that's a spite home. That's exactly what that is.
But that's for every single, so where if you, let's say the block where, the coffee shop is,
Mhm.
They can't expand, they can't improve more than 50% of their house without adding 50% residential on top somewhere. I have no idea, because there's no place that can't meet parking, they can't meet anything else without that. That's what your current comp plan has. And that is a restrictive,
So what is the recommendation for the downtown mixed use?
that we just have mixed use with a variety of uses.
So we dropped the number altogether.
We say it can be up to 6 units per acre residential.
I'm living.
And we have a certain floor area ratio of, commercial
No, I got this.
with certain types of uses. But we're not saying you have to have one or the other. You can do whichever. If you wanna build a house, or you wanna do a mixed use, if you wanna build, like on your property, if you wanted to build a house and a commercial building structure, his office, he could do it. But we're not saying how much percentage on his block he needs to do of residential and commercial. He could just have both.
Or none.
What do you mean? or
Could he
not?
have zero? Could he have no residential on his
Yes,
block?
he could have none. He could do it all commercial, correct. Because most of that development along that area in the pink
No,
It's
yeah, no,
commercial.
no, so what I'm trying to do is break this up. We had discussed downtown last week, and we are discussing Fox Run right now.
Both, no, we're not.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to narrow the focus
Thank
before
you,
we get excited.
thank you.
I'm not excited. I do this all the time.
I understand.
I mean, we have a chance throughout this whole process, and really we need to get, beyond this is not the last bite of the apples of this land use plan. You're not adopting anything. We need to deal with what we need to do to get our first deliverable in. The first deliverable is just saying we reviewed it, which we have reviewed it. We are
have
not.
reviewed it. We reviewed it on nauseam infinitum.
Exactly. We're not giving this is not coming up for recommendation at this deliverable. We have until April to come up with this, if they don't change our date. Or it might be May, I don't remember which one or the other. That's all I'm saying. We are not making any decisions related to the land use map. But if you have any problem, because I guess, like I said, I misunderstood, I thought we had a
Yeah,
consensus.
there was no agreement, there was no agreement.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
let's move on to the other things that we need to do for this deliverable. We have, you need to ask me I need specific questions of what you would like me to change. I cannot, if you are upset with the percentages, if you think we need to have the percentages, that's the information that I need so I can answer you moving forward.
So, this is just my perspective. I would prefer that we align what we have with just the state. Whatever the state has written down, I know they've not met this year, and when they do, it's gonna be after.
Well, states, do you mean the legislature?
Yeah.
The legislature is in session as
Correct.
we speak.
And they might
have various,
change.
and they have various bills in front of them that
Yes, and they might change their number 4 years from now.
they do not care what you have on your land use map.
Great.
The
So-
only thing they care,
So we can leave it as a minimum, just state a floor bottom number.
I don't understand maybe I misunderstand.
Instead of having a hard number, 70-30, 80-20, 60-40, we can just mix it up, and whatever the bare minimum is needed for the six DU per acre, and the density, which is the FAR, as long as we meet that, then that's the direction I would like us to be steered.
Actually, let me step back, because I'm totally confused with what you're saying. Okay.
That's fair enough.
Okay. We currently have a mixed-use
Mhm.
designation. That mixed-use designation is primarily the pink area.
Yes, it is.
Says you cannot expand, you cannot develop, you cannot do anything unless you do 50% residential at 6 units per acre and 50% commercial. That's what that's saying. Staff is recommending get rid of that percentages because it has been restrictive on redevelopment, which is a goal of the
And I
city.
concur on the downtown district.
Okay.
We removed that number.
Okay, so then what we talked about, we have two options with what I call the orange.
Mm-hmm.
We could do a new mixed-use category, which has a 70-30, because it's your only parcel within the city of large with the potential, with a large acreage.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece is already, you got a PUD for residential, but that's small
Yeah, it's
comparison
out
to.
at Sunrise.
Okay,
Focus,
so that, I'm focusing.
good.
So the idea is, in current planning, when you have larger acreage, you try to not just do residential, you try to bring some commercial. A good mix that's kind of consistently, by planning recommendation for the last 15 to 20 years, is about 70-30. That was staff's recommendation moving forward. We either can keep it as residential, with, I guess, that little corner piece is commercial.
That's just what it
You
is.
What
can
you
make it
can add-
anything, can't you? You can make it anything. If you're making it mixed use, then there are other options, are there not? I mean, you could propose anything, couldn't you? There are all sorts of different,
My recommendation, based on Senate Bill 180, it needs to be residential, and if you're gonna do anything more, it needs to be more intensive than residential, because it would not be considered more egregious, you're not.
intensively residential? More intensively residential?
No, you can maintain what it is, which is residential, and that'd be fine. If you want to change it, it has to be, you have to add some intensity beyond the residential. So, because otherwise you got the Senate Bill 180 issues. But I really, we're spending a lot of time on one issue, that we still have a lot of, we can discuss this moving forward. So, I'd like to continue, let's move forward with what we need to discuss
Okay.
This is
tonight.
current residential.
Because we're not adopting a future land use map tonight. We're not adopting a future land use map till probably the fall.
We
And that's
are,
fine.
however, learning, what the proposed land use is, so it gives us an opportunity to.
This is, you gotta look at the map, but you also, and if I knew we were gonna discuss it, I just put it up to say we've kinda completed this, which was my mistake.
Right.
But we can't look at that without looking at the categories. You have to look at both of them together, which we did last meeting. So we will have another meeting where we will look at the categories, because you can't just look at the map, you gotta look at the categories together. One's the text and one's the map, okay? Next. Okay, so what we need to do, what I'm doing now is the other deliverable, as part of the deliverable, is create an assessment report. What I am gonna do is going through the comp plan and saying by element, not by specific, goals, objective, policy, but by element, say, these are things we want to look at changing, these are things we need to change from our discussions. I'm looking at your recommendations you've given me, but it's not gonna be a goal by goal, it's gonna be a paragraph. This is what this element needs to do, this is what this element needs to do, this is all for all 8
Last
elements.
month's homework was specifically 141, that is what I wrote.
I understand, yes, that's the categories,
Mhm.
that was the categories, okay. So, and you gave me some information the other, I wanted to update you on information that I received on the Black Creek project. I talked to the Water Management District, Doug Humke, who's very involved in this project, and to see where it's at. Unfortunately, because of our drought, and you probably know more than I do, the levels that were hoped to be able to be pumped into the downstream to help the lakes, they can only have enough to keep Black Creek at its current levels. So we're probably, unfortunately, because they have all these minimum flows and all these requirements of the permit, it's gonna be at least 5 to 10 years.
Don't worry, it'll happen, we'll get plenty of rain.
Right. Before what we had hoped was gonna be happening now will happen, which will also cause, change of people coming. But so those are things I'm gonna address in this report, those kind of things, okay? And some of the changes we made, to like why we're, that are making us think forward. Next slide. So I thought this was important. As part of the assessment report, I gotta talk about what our population is. So the University of Florida Schindberg Center for Housing Studies does population projections. I was very surprised, and I will tell the councilman this, I assumed they would have had more growth. I saw the ones, I pulled something like this for Penny Farms, there was no growth, but I wasn't surprised, because Penny Farms never has growth. I was really assuming that we would show more growth. My gut feeling, the reason that they, and basically what they do is they do the county and then they work it down. Schindberg does, they do the Bureau of Business and Economic Research at UF does the countywide projections, state and then county, and Schindberg does it for municipalities, based on that. I think that some of what they do is how they create these projections, and especially the annual ones that are used for revenue sharing and other things, is they look at building permits and development. And basically they capture the information. Like, I think you probably have to fill out a report, Bo, like how many building permits you've had in a year, et cetera, and send it to the state for housing. That's how they figure out. And unfortunately, we haven't had much, or any. I mean, right, Bo, how many new houses have we built? I think you got 2 looking at it now.
Two in 2 years.
So when BBER, Bureau of Business and Economic Research, says Clay County is gonna grow X amount, and they look at all the building permits that are happening and unincorporated Clay County, and they have to figure out, well, how, is there any growth other places? You know, Keystone, the municipality, Keystone, Green Cove, Orange Park. Unfortunately, for all the municipalities in Clay County, it's negligible, because one of the reasons is you're basically built out. We are lucky here, unlike I think Orange Park has like 0 build out ability. We do have a couple of potentials of projects. And I think in that report, I haven't filled it out in a while, they even asked you for rezonings and things like that to help it. So maybe the next time they look at these, which they look at it annually, we might get a bump. But right now, we're not. Now, we do know some potential projects. And when those start happening, our numbers will bump. But right now, they're looking at the whole over the county and saying, none of that growth that we project for Clay County is gonna come here. You know, which is not, that's.
So was this projection dated 2010?
I just pulled it up from my computer,
Because things have changed since then, so.
they're constantly updating it. They just don't change the first number, but I just pulled it from my computer today, this week, I'm not saying today,
Right.
but earlier in the week, from Schindler, from the UF, it's online. You know, if you pulled it for other communities that are growth communities, you will see different numbers, unfortunately. Or fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know which way you wanna look. But one of the problems is, if you go back to that map, the existing land use map, that was confusing to everybody, you will see a lot of the yellow is developed. That means there's not a lot of empty lots, and some of those lots in communities like this could be,
Not unless someone wants to subdivide,
Yeah.
or they go up.
Or they tear down a house and build a new one.
right,
That's a net zero, and that actually doesn't reflect in
right.
these.
And what happens is a lot of times the parcels, there might be an empty parcel, but Mr. Smith owns the parcel next to him and uses it for his dogs to run or whatever. That happens a lot of times in smaller communities. So even if it's a vacant parcel, it's not really vacant because it's just used by the same property owner owns 2, and he has it split into 2 parcels.
Yeah, I got one of those behind my house.
Right.
Well, and something else to note, because this was talked about 2 or 3 years ago, is there was a lot of properties here as well that were vacation rentals
Right.
for a long time that are no longer rentals, they're residences. And so a lot of that growth that you've also seen since 2010 wasn't necessarily new homes. To the point of what Bo brought up, there's been very few built in.
So-
It's been a lot of these vacation rentals being turned from rentals
So it's
into
new
residences.
residents,
Right.
actually, they are new homes because they were vacation rentals and now they're homes.
Now these are
But they are-
these are permanent residents.
right.
These are not
Right.
vacation, which used to have because of the lakes and things, but they left, and I think that's positive. It gives stability to the
To the
city,
local economy, for
to the
sure.
local, by having people here year round. So these are year round residents. So the units haven't increased, but and
Right.
yet on the percentage wise, figure 2010 you had 1350, and you're up to 1500.
We're allegedly at 1,500.
Yeah, you're at 1,500, yeah. I mean, that's 115 residents, which percentage wise is pretty big, I'm gonna go back and do all those
Now,
percentages.
whatever Sunrise bill is, you're gonna see another, about 200 people.
Yes, Because, and that'll be reflected because the state will get the information once those building permits are pulled, and they'll do their analysis, and that will change our projections, it'll change our annual projections, but they do it off a historical, and so we don't have a historical, there's been a lot of permits for the last couple of years. And that was 1 year, I think the year before you had like one, maybe, yeah, so I mean, it's a stable economy, which is good, but if you wanna look at growth, it's not good. Or I don't know, maybe some people don't wanna look at growth.
Saturation, I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, but I will say I was surprised. I thought there would be a larger growth than there has been. But, you know. So that's part of my assessment report, looking at, you know, like for instance, saying that we are really, from a population projection, we're not really, are not anticipating growth. We're looking at redevelopment, and we do have some vacant parcels that we're hoping to develop.
What's interesting about this is the trends within the graph versus the total number.
Yeah.
And that's actually quite positive if you look at our, like 30 to 34, age group and 35 to 39, both
Yes.
of which are peaking.
And it's pretty stable on your 70 plus.
That's pretty funny, but it's not
Yeah.
surprising, because you see, you see around you.
Yeah, so anyways, I thought that was, I wanted to present that to you, I thought that was interesting. I think is it the next one? I think I have one more slide. Yeah, so this is just where we're at. So we will submit our deliverable. Hopefully if we get a signed contract, we will do it on next week or so. But then we'll actually prepare the draft the draft that you guys did back in October. That's what's gonna be coming forward, which will make our April one easier. And then we'll start and have the community, some of the community meetings that are required. And then the other thing is, we keep talking about it, but we'll have a list of inconsistency within our land development regulations and comp plan. One of the things, for instance, we talked about, and I think you.
Whatever we can
Right.
shovel over to our land use article, I think we should.
Well, yeah, but, right, but we have the whole problem of the 180, which talks about both the
No, I understand.
comprehensive plan and the land.
That's what I'm saying,
development
whatever, that's the clause, whatever we can.
But, for instance, as you mentioned, that we have 2 land use categories, but for industrial, but only 1 zoning. So that's an inconsistency. You need to have a zoning category. And if we adopt different, and we, mix different land use category, i.e. different mixed use categories, that is something we need to address, otherwise that's an inconsistency.
We've been batting that one around here as far as the downtown mixed use, and then, just for the lack of any other descriptor, the Foxglove mixed use area.
Yeah.
One on Foxglove.
So
Will
anyway,
we have an opportunity to look at the final draft, or the next to the final draft comprehensive plan?
Of course,
before you send it
of
in?
course,
Good,
of course,
thank
of
you.
course. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, and that's why, and that's what's gonna be up on the website, so other people can look at it, too.
Okay.
I think that's where we're at. We got a lot of stuff we're working on. I appreciate all your interest.
Does this go back to Carrie, or is that yours?
Nope.
Thank you, Carrie.
No, I deliberately leave everything from last month at home.
Okay, so no agreement we've made no agreement
My
on-
understanding that,
Okay,
Not yet.
good, thank you.
yeah, I think you do need to look at those categories, because at some point in time, you all need to, and I think it's good now that you're on, you need to, but I need specifics. I need you to go through, just like I did with the underline and strikeout, take either the clean one and underline and strike out what you think you do or do not like. If you do not want to add another mixed use category, that's fine, but that's just, that's a specific, I need you to take the existing one, the underline and strikeout that I proposed, or, staff, and if there are any changes, you need to be as specific as I was.
Is that the one that I had just submitted to you, or are we talking about a different paragraph? Cause I had
I
sent
will,
you,
I will send you the clean copy, that's what I want.
cause I sent you one for one, and I wanna know,
Yeah.
is that what we're?
I don't know,
which is what
we
this
will
is?
we will send you out the clean copy,
Okay.
and if anybody is not happy with that clean copy, tell me what changes you want,
Okay. That's fair enough.
and, you know, okay?
But you've got two categories, clean copy, right?
Yes.
Next, yeah.
Oh,
I
no,
think
there's
that's
blood.
Sorry about checking in, finishing up the workshop, is that where we're at?
Yep,
Yes.
that's where we
We
are,
talked,
yes,
community engagement.
Yes.
we went through the- yes.
Okay, and the only comment I have is I just finished my second attempt at community engagement on the comprehensive plan. Last week on Thursday, I spoke with at the Women's Club to the Keystone Lake Region Business Association, KLRBA, asking for comments and that we would have feedback online. And then again tonight at the, Coffee with Commerce, which is a city kind of sponsored event. We just had about 15
That's great.
folks over there. Also encourage pointing to the website, which we're getting up. So we're starting the process of getting the
And what
information.
I'm saying, I just really put an email.
That's
And I
a
wasn't
lovely
sure whether I
letter.
had it, but this we can hand that out.
That's a
Okay.
lovely.
Perfect. That's all I had. I wanted to add in. We had kind of a slight agenda item or something.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
wanna share?
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, oops, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Nothing to say.
I think we're done.
Very quiet for a minute.
Do you have anything further for the attorney? Otherwise, I will let him off the phone line.
I do not.
Yeah.
Rich, thank you for being here with us this evening. Have a lovely rest of your evening.
You as well. Thanks so much for looping me in. I appreciate you.
No problem. Bye.
Thanks, Rich.
So as far as what we got going on here, we're waiting for the clean copy to come out, and then we will reply to it. And anything else for us on homework?
Janice, other than replying to the clean copy, any other homework for the planning and zoning committee? I'm not.
We'll send it out, we'll send you the right
No, no,
ones.
so, this is the way this guy learns. I heard what you said, I digested what you said, I'm now playing back to you what I thought you said.
And really what you need to do, really the better way to go, I think, at our next meeting, don't give it to me between now and then, at our next meeting, bring your comments and we will
Okay.
address it together.
So
That
under
would be-
the old paradigm, which we have now just changed.
I know, I just realized it. I think it'd be better if we'll give it to you ahead of time and,
And then we doctor it up, and then we sit on it until we meet again.
sure, correct.
That's an outstanding plan.
Ahead of time's a wonderful thought.
Well, this was a kind of a change and.
Because of the holiday, things got shifted. I
Yeah.
expected, as I explained to Mr. Booth earlier today, I expected a shift to the right, not a shift to the left. So I was also equally unprepared.
We were gonna go to the right, but Janice wasn't available. to
It's
the right.
okay. It's
And
okay.
so, but I believe, so for the March meeting,
Yes, sir.
we are back on schedule for the third Monday at 6 PM. I believe, yes?
Is
Okay,
it,
so-
is it in the city calendar?
It should be.
Thank you. Because I do look at the city calendar. That's where I get my pre-plan for the month.
We'll double check it.
That's fine. I don't want to put any undue stress.
I get mine off the board out.
So,
front.
I wanna tell you, it is on the updated city 2026 hard copy calendar that was approved by the city council last Monday.
Uh-huh.
Now the question I gotta double check is how far out have we been building that out on the online city calendar? But the one pager that's, was approved by the city council on Monday,
Okay.
that is good for the entire year right now.
Alrighty.
What's that in, like, is that in the agenda? Where do we?
It's on the
put that?
agenda, it's on the published agenda.
In that,
And I think it was one of the last agenda items of the city council meeting. It was a proposed change for the May meeting,
yes, I
but
remember.
the full calendar was an agenda item attachment.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any comments, Mr. Booth?
I could add a couple and maybe help answer your first question, but
Yes.
I don't wanna make it more.
No, I don't, I think this is really important, and hearing from you, because you own part of the
Yeah.
property down there, just as hearing from us, because we're residents of the city.
Yeah, again, Mike Bell, I think your original question was what is the standard percentages? And I think the difference is, as Janice said, in the planning world, for new development, for undeveloped land, 70 to 80% residential, 20 to 30% commercial. is the right number. So if you've got 100 acres and you want to develop it, those ratios work out. If you try to do it, too much commercial, you don't support that in general. So those numbers come from undeveloped land that's not associated with an existing downtown or a
Right.
city of 1,500
Right.
people that's already
Right.
built out.
Right,
So the idea that you would put a restriction or even have the 50-50 that's been on, I don't know how long, 14 years, and it was probably implemented
Plenty use for it.
and without thought, because that would not make sense and it wouldn't fly by a planner to say, we're gonna put a 50-50 restriction on this old existing downtown. So somewhere along the way, somebody made a mistake and put the 50-50 in or put anything in. So I think the idea was in the old downtown, if you want to allow people to do what maybe is an improvement or an expansion, you can't have any type of restriction on that level. You still can restrict them on their business, their other things that they want to do, but from that standpoint, the mix of residential to commercial doesn't make sense in your small downtown. The percentages are good for large undeveloped land, but not existing built-out cities. You can't add that. So I would say, and again, I don't know when or how, but if it was 14 years ago and somebody put that overlay over the mixed use, it was probably done improperly. And most likely they copied it from another city's code.
Most likely.
Most likely.
Because I know who was the city manager then.
Okay. So I think your original question is what standard? So for undeveloped, the standard is that 70 to
right,
80.
and I'm picturing all of the construction in Clay County that I drive by.
Yeah.
That's under that 70-30.
Exactly.
And I wonder, is that what we want that top corner to look like? We being the city of Keystone
Yeah,
Heights.
and again, that's up to you guys. If you
Well, it's up
did-
to the city,
Yeah,
it's not,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it starts here, but that piece separate from the mixed use downtown, or
Right,
downtown mixed
right,
use, so
which-
totally two
Yeah.
different categories,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I didn't hear that last
Okay.
time, you heard it.
I heard it, yeah, but,
Yeah, I did not hear that.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you very much.
You stood up and something.
Well, I was just gonna make a comment about Clay County zoning. Some of their master plan communities might be that. But the majority of Clay County, and we deal with it every day, cause I've got zonings I'm having to deal with. They took 21, they took 17, they took 220, and they said 300 feet of commercial. And then behind it was residential for rural fringe or rural residential. There was no thought, and I mean, we're dealing with it, of, it was just like they did swap. And you can see it in their land use map when you actually go parcel by parcel, what they did. Now, the master plan communities like Fleming Island, and that's different. But the majority of Clay County, other than those communities, it was just stripping the commercial along,
Highway.
Blaney
highways.
Boulevard. That's
Yes,
Blaney Boulevard north of
yes.
Kingsley
Yeah.
too.
Yes, exactly, and that's what they did, cause like they just took, they didn't even look if I owned, and this is a parcel I'm working with right now, with somebody on 220. It's resident, it's commercial it's a college and 220, major intersection in Clay County. 300 feet is, commercial, his back of his property, he owns 500 feet, is residential. Now, he can't do anything with that 200 feet, it's got, so we're having to rezone it, and that's happening, and I can't tell you how many rezonings I've done in the county, because that's how they did it. They did not, their master plan committee is one thing, but the rest of it was basically strict commercial, is the best way of saying it.
So that's fabulous that we're hearing this story, because it gives me strength to continue this discussion, so that what it in the end is the best that it can possibly be. Our city is the best that it can possibly be.
Is that everything, Cindy? Brandon is our lone council representative. You got anything you'd like to add, sir?
Nothing further, just, two brief things. I think the survey was good, that I saw. There's, one minor thing, there was, I think it was question number 6, where it's just, and I can pass this along to Jamie, pass along to Drew, but it was, what do you think the city should prioritize business-wise? And I think you should be able to select multiple. businesses in that category, because there's 9 or 10 different things, and
Okay, that's it.
I personally was like, there should be 3 of these that I, mentally have.
Okay, we can make that change.
But otherwise, I think that's good, to the point of what Jamie mentioned earlier. That's going to be part of some of the conversations we're also having with Coffee and Commerce, to get a lot of those businesses involved in these conversations, which I think is extremely important. Obviously this is 2046, correct? So you're looking the next 20 years. So I think having that as part of it, and now that the city's really been engaging in that, I think will be beneficial. So those are the only 2 comments that I have. Thank you. I know you've had a very long night, Janice, so I just want to say thank you for your time with us this
No
evening.
problem. I just feel bad that I was later
Good.
than I was planned.
Just Carrie, got anything? Got anything, Doobie? Alrighty.
Janice, don't leave, I want to schedule
Okay.
time again.